I know that I'm different. That's never gonna change.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jacob Restituto, and I'm a musician from Northport, New York. And today, we're doing a different style video today. I want to do a series of video, and I'm adding this to the series, where I talk about just kind of my thoughts on some of the favorite artists that I like to talk about on the channel, where I break down a lot of their music. I've heard a lot of their music, and I kind of just want to give my thoughts on what I've learned, what I've observed, what I like, and all the different aspects of the music in general. That being said, if you enjoy this kind of content, definitely let me know. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to talk about your favorite artist, or if there's a specific artist that you think you might enjoy me talking about and giving some feedback on. Let me know in the comments below. If you want to check out my music, it's the best way to support the channel. And if you want to release music just like I release music, definitely consider checking out DistroKid, where you can release as much music as you want, put it on any platform, stream it anywhere. I highly recommend them. It's who I personally use to release my music. That being said, we're going to be talking about Pentatonix. There's a lot that I could be talking about, I think. I am a big fan of their work. Side note, my mom is actually a big fan of them, just as a side note, because she watches a lot of my reaction videos, especially to Pentatonix, but she really likes them. We've actually known about them for a while, probably since the sing-off is when we kind of discovered them, and I've seen them on YouTube just constantly. They're all over YouTube, and they have always been for quite some time now. But I have a list of things that kind of just want to talk about. I think are pretty cool about them and just share my thoughts. One of the thoughts that I want to start off with is the fact that I really appreciate that there's not necessarily a specific leader, in the sense of they are a cohesive group and everyone has the ability to shine in the group. And I think that that's kind of cool. You don't see a ton of that in music anymore. You see more of just one-off artists. You don't see bands as much, and even when you do see bands, there's usually a front man. But in Pentatonix, I would say, personally, from what I'm seeing and what I've seen, that Scott kind of takes that leadership role just a little bit more. But for the most part, everybody has the opportunity to sing. Everybody has the opportunity to talk. Everybody has, it's them as a group more so than just, like, for example, like Coldplay. Chris Martin's, while it's Coldplay as a whole, Chris Martin's the front man. Maroon 5, you have Adam Levine's the front man. You know what I mean? So it's like, there's in every band, there's usually one person, and the other people kind of get forgotten about. While I do kind of feel like Scott kind of takes that leadership role just a little bit more, because he often sings a little bit more, and that just could be because of his voice and his range, or whatever the case is. I do kind of feel like he has that kind of slight leadership, and I could be wrong, but I don't feel like anybody else is left out. Like, for example, I don't know the drummer's name from Coldplay or Maroon 5, or, you know what I mean? But I know everybody's name in Pentatonix, you know what I mean? So everybody has the ability to shine. This is one of my favorite and most kind of impressive points to them, and congratulations to them, is while they started off on the sing-off where they do all covers, I really appreciate their transition into original music, and I think that they did a really good job, where people love them for their originals and people love them for their covers, and both in between. I think that is a really cool thing, because I think that when you start doing covers, it's a really scary thing to do, because, at least for myself, it's hard. I feel like it's hard not to get caught as a cover artist, and you kind of get stuck. I think there's a lot of artists that kind of get stuck there, where nobody really, like, you look at YouTube and look at the covers, nobody wants to hear the original songs because they love them for their covers, but they don't love the original songs. And they did a really good job of kind of bringing people along their journey. And while they still release covers, they have a lot of original music that people really love and want to hear. And I think that is a really hard feat to do, and I want to congratulate them and say that is a really good part of it. Another thing I want to talk about is how good of live performance there. This is really, especially for a cappella, very impressive. How their studio work is fantastic, and we're going to go on to the kind of the progression of their studio work in a sec, but their studio work is fantastic. But not only that, is the progression of their quality has constantly gotten better. You look at their earlier stuff, and from video work to sound quality to even just vocal ability, you can see that they were good. But, like, I like the fact that you can actually watch their journey online and see different videos, and wow, this one's better, this has changed, this is better, this is just, they upgraded this, and now it's like super professional. And I like watching an artist grow, and I think that kind of gives you a little connection to them, because you say, I remember when, they had the sheet as the background, on the couch, and now they're doing all this stuff in studios and all the production studios, and I think that that's cool, and you can even hear it in the music where like it was a lot more of like harmonies back then when they first started, and now they're more of using their actual voices as actual instruments, creating like these instrumental layers behind the actual main melody, which is a really cool thing. But then from that, they actually sound just as good live as they do in the studio. Now, the impressive part about that is take out the fact that they're an a cappella group, and there's so many bands in general in the world that don't sound like their studio stuff because they produce it like crazy in the studio and then they can't replicate it live. And I'm impressed with how produced they are in the studio, but they do have the same sound live. That is a hard feat to do, and I'm impressed by that. I think that is really, really cool. I'm also impressed that they're not afraid to try new things. I think that is a really hard thing to do as an artist. I think that they do a really good job at it. Shout out to their fans, the Pentatonix, who are not afraid to move with them. You know, whether it be trying instruments or whether it be trying different layers or trying different ways of doing harmonies or this or that, or videos, or this, or live, acoustic, whatever the case is. I like that they try new things and they're constantly growing. And I think that as artists, it's important to do that because you learn how, you know, what works, what doesn't work, what you enjoy doing, what you don't enjoy doing, and everything in between. I'm also impressed with the fact that they were able to move on relatively, from my perspective, seamlessly when they lost a member or they, like, Avi went different ways. Now, I don't know anything about why that happened or when that happened, really. But as an artist, that kind of, you start together as a big group, it's hard to move on from that, and then to replace him with somebody else is a very hard, I think, feat. And I'm really impressed that they did it rather seamlessly, and that Matt is now in there just as cohesive and like almost like nothing ever happened. Now, obviously, people, of course, I'm sure they missed Avi, but regardless, like, it's just impressive in how they handled that. Another thing that I think is really cool is their connection to their fans, the Pentatonix. I appreciate the fact, like, they put out a decent amount of behind the scenes and vlogs. They seem like they connect really well with people in the sense of, like, I'm pretty sure they still have a Patreon where, you know, they get early access to stuff, but they're also constantly releasing music and videos and all this. Like, they're engaged, and they I feel like while they have several million followers on Instagram and stuff, I do feel like they still have a connection to people. Like, they're not just like these performers that you don't have, there's a wall up that you don't feel like you can actually connect to them, relate to them at all, but they're actually, I don't know, I appreciate their connection aspect. And the last part that I want to make, the last point that I want to talk about, is just the sheer quality of music that they put out. They put out fantastic music, whether it be their writing ability, their arrangement, you know, shout out to the collective, how they work with Ben Bram and everything. Like, they do just a good job, and it's actually pretty wild how sometimes you can be hearing a track, and if you didn't know it was Pentatonix, you wouldn't realize it was a cappella. And they're just talented artists, and I just want to give them the credit that they deserve. And that's my thoughts on Pentatonix. All the things that I've heard, all the things that I've done and reacted to and broken down. Had some thoughts, and I feel like, you know, a part of this series, I want to share them with you. So I'd love to know what you agree with, what you disagree with, what aspects you think are different, or I just love to know your thoughts in the comments below. So let me know. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to check out my music, it is the best way to support the channel. If you want to release music, definitely consider checking out DistroKid. And I'll see you guys in the next video. God bless and peace out.
You've been with me for so long, I thought you know that I'm not different at the core. But when you ask me to be different around your friends, man, do you like them more?